single dad woke up to a female CEO in his shirt. What she said left him speechless. The moment he opened his eyes, his world tilted. The soft morning light spilled across unfamiliar walls, and beside him stood a woman he had only ever seen on magazine covers, calm, composed, powerful, wearing his old, threadbare shirt like it belonged to her. His heart slammed so hard he thought it might wake his daughter in the next room, and for one terrifying second, he wondered if exhaustion had finally pushed him into a dream he didn't deserve. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet miracles that happen when good people cross paths, take a second right now to like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this remind us why humanity still matters. He was a single father named Aaron, the kind of man the world rarely noticed. Every morning before sunrise, he packed lunches with careful hands, checked homework that barely made sense to him after 12-hour shifts, and whispered promises to his sleeping daughter that tomorrow would be better. His life had narrowed to survival, rent, groceries, school shoes, and keeping a brave face when his little girl asked questions he couldn't answer. The day before had been especially brutal. His daughter had a fever, his babysitter canceled, and his supervisor threatened to cut his hours if he missed another shift. Desperation had become a constant companion, sitting heavy on his chest. That night, he remembered collapsing into sleep without even changing his clothes. The apartment smelled faintly of soup and medicine, the kind of smell that clung to tired homes. When he woke and saw the woman standing there, his mind scrambled backward through the hours. Memories came in fragments. Helping someone outside his building, a woman who had stumbled and nearly collapsed, calling for help that never came, rain soaking through his jacket, carrying her inside because leaving her outside didn't feel like an option. He remembered insisting she take the bed while he slept on the couch, and the blur that followed as exhaustion finally claimed him. Now she stood there, hair slightly undone, eyes thoughtful rather than alarmed, wearing his shirt as if it were the most natural thing in the world. The contrast between her presence and his life hit him all at once. She looked like someone who commanded boardrooms and headlines, while he counted coins at the grocery store. He felt small, exposed, and painfully aware of the cracks in his ceiling and the peeling paint near the window. She didn't look angry. She didn't look confused. She looked grateful. And when she finally spoke, her words didn't come out sharp or awkward the way he expected. They came softly, measured, and heavy with meaning. She explained that she was the CEO of a major company, a woman used to control uncertainty, but last night she had fainted from exhaustion after weeks of pressure, bad decisions, and ignoring her own limits. She told him he had saved her without asking for anything, without knowing who she was, and without trying to turn her vulnerability into an opportunity. She said waking up in his shirt, in a small apartment filled with the quiet evidence of a child's life, had shaken her more than any boardroom confrontation ever had. Aaron stood frozen, barely breathing. He had helped because that was what you did when someone needed you. He had no idea who she was, and even if he had, it wouldn't have changed his choice. Still, hearing her speak made something crack open inside him. No one had looked at him like that in years, not with respect, not with sincerity, not with the sense that his actions mattered. As the morning unfolded, reality crept back in. His daughter stirred awake, rubbing sleep from her eyes, and the woman knelt to greet her at eye level, offering a smile so warm it felt unreal. There was no awkwardness, no fear. Just a quiet moment where three lives intersected in a way none of them could have planned. Aaron watched from the doorway, heart tight, as his daughter laughed at something the woman did with her hands, a simple gesture that felt like a promise the world wasn't always cruel. The CEO listened as Aaron explained his life in pieces, working nights, missing moments, constantly afraid of falling one step behind and never catching up. He didn't dress it up. He didn't complain. He simply told the truth the way tired people do, without drama, because there's no energy left for pretending. He admitted that he felt invisible most days, like the world was rushing past him while he stood still, holding on as tightly as he could. She listened without interrupting, and when she responded, her words hit him harder than anything he'd heard in years. She said that people like him were the reason the world still worked, that kindness done quietly was rarer and more powerful than any title. She told him that last night had reminded her how far she had drifted from real life, from real people, and from the kind of values she once claimed to stand for. What happened next wasn't a sudden miracle or a dramatic promise. It was something slower, more believable, and far more meaningful. She asked if she could help, not with charity, not with pity, but with opportunity. She spoke about his skills, his reliability, his character, and how those qualities were worth more than any polished resume. She offered him a chance to interview for a position he never would have dreamed of applying for, one that offered stability, benefits, and hours that wouldn't steal his nights away from his daughter. Aaron felt his throat tighten. Years of being overlooked had taught him not to hope too hard, but something about her tone, steady, respectful, made it impossible not to believe her. He didn't see a powerful executive looking down on him. He saw a human being who had been reminded, in her weakest moment, of what truly mattered. The days that followed were a blur of nerves and disbelief. Aaron showed up to the interview in his only decent shirt, hands shaking, heart pounding. He expected judgment. He expected rejection. Instead, he was met with fairness, genuine questions, and a sense that he belonged there. When the offer came, he sat in his car afterward and cried in a way he hadn't allowed himself to in years. His life didn't transform overnight into something perfect. There were still bills, still worries, still moments of doubt. But there was also stability. There were dinners at home. There were school mornings without panic. There was the quiet pride of knowing his effort was finally seen. And every now and then, he would catch a glimpse of that woman on the news, speaking about leadership and responsibility, and he would remember the morning she stood in his apartment wearing his shirt, reminding him that even the smallest acts of kindness can ripple outward in ways we may never fully understand. She kept her promise, not because she owed him, but because his kindness had changed her. And in changing her, it changed the direction of his life too. Two strangers, brought together by exhaustion and empathy, had unknowingly given each other exactly what they needed most. Before this story ends, I want to ask you something special. Please comment the word kindness if you believe simple human compassion can still change lives. And if this story touched your heart even a little, if it reminded you that goodness still matters in a world that often feels cold, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your engagement helps these stories reach others who may need hope today.